Something that bothers me is lying about my grades constantly to all my peers. If they knew real grades, I would never be accepted. It also really hurts to hear people talking about good grades and spreading myths about the best someone can do with a GPA lower than 3.9999 is De Anza, and it's unfair students to assume that De Anza is just this hellhole when it's better than a lot of the community colleges out there, and that we're privileged to have a place like that so close to home. It's kind of sad to hear that people feel like they have to impress people because of their grades, and it's also sad to hear that people are saying that anybody who doesn't have a 4.0 can't really go anywhere good, because there are a lot of good community colleges, and it's not saying, like, there's nothing that means that you can't be successful in your career or life if you don't have a 4.0.
Yeah, I know a lot of people think, like, if you don't have a good GPA then you're not going to go anywhere or do anything, but, like, I know that that's not true. And community colleges do have a lot of important programs, like there's like transfer, so there's like a lot of reasons why you would go to community college, but the less than 3.9999 is definitely not a reason that you're not gonna succeed.
I would tell this person that they're completely right. It's not just about your GPA, and the fact that this person understands that De Anza is a pretty good college and there's a lot of other great colleges that you don't need a 4.0 GPA to get into is something very good and will help him or her throughout their whole life.
I used to feel smarter than I do now. My test averages were higher. I miss that carefreeness when people wouldn't pressure me into revealing my grade. It's personal, and I don't like it when they make me feel like I'm being a bad friend when they ask. Sometimes I'll say anyway, but then name omitted comes and asks. I know he'll laugh and smirk and make me feel bad by bragging about his higher score. Almost like he's a better person than me because of it. Except I saw him cheat, and that changed everything. He's not doing the right thing. So now I'm proud no matter what I got to not succumb to pressure. But it still hurts when he brags and puts others down. Because I know they feel worse about themselves, even though they are better than him and didn't cheat. I mean, I know a lot of people do cheat, and it's just like, it's unfair because you're like, oh, my grade is so much, like, the grade doesn't mean anything in the end. It's just that anyone does whatever they want to get it. So it's like, what's the importance of it? Kind of makes you question what you've done. You have to actually have like really strong morals to continue on doing well.
I think for this person, this is an issue a lot of us face because we see people cheating and you don't want to get them in trouble, but then you also know that what they're doing isn't right. And I think the best thing to know is that what you're doing is the right thing. So you should focus on that and not worry about what other people are doing, because if people do bad stuff, eventually it'll catch up to them. So it's better to just stay on the good side of the road.
A really weird thing that my peers ask me is what I got on the last test. It doesn't make sense because I don't understand how that could matter so much, so that they feel offended if I don't reply and start assuming stuff. Just because I don't reply doesn't mean I got a bad score. It just means I want to keep certain stuff private and I don't want them to judge me based on it. I mean, it's really important that like when you get a test and if you don't want to share it, then just don't share it. And like, it's also really intruding to ask other people what they got on their test score, because if it's private matter, then it's private matter. You shouldn't push it.
The most hurtful thing someone has said to me was when I sat next to a classmate twice and I couldn't really be a classmate that helps out with questions. But when he changed seats, that person said, I can finally sit next to a person and get help. Although it was a joke, it was hurtful.
So what this person, I think, is trying to say is that people feel that they can't get help from people who may not get as good test scores as they do, but what they're missing is that everyone learns in different ways, and the method someone uses to learn may be different and more helpful than the one that you're using. So it's always important to take input from everyone, not just the smartest kids, because everyone has something else that they can contribute. I hope that in the years going forward, students learn to worry less about their GPAs and their test scores and more about what they're learning, and sometimes notice that even those who don't have the highest GPA or test scores can still be smarter than them, and they can learn from each other and still be friends.
Like right now, a lot of Lindbergh students, they just approach it like grades, getting into college, and then after that. But you shouldn't always think about grades. You should think about like the learning process and the like just enjoy high school. Like you're here, so why not enjoy it?